Let's be real for a second. We have all been hurt by someone. It's just part of being human, right? But that hurt can leave you feeling completely stuck, like you're carrying this heavy backpack that isn't even yours. So how do you get out of that trap? Well, let's dive into the path this idea lays out for us.
So what if the key to moving on, the secret to actually getting your peace back, starts with one single thing you do for yourself, an act of self-care that, I gotta say, might sound completely backwards at first.
And there it is, the big challenging idea right up front, to forgive everyone who has hurt you. I know, right? For a lot of us, the second you hear that, something inside just says, nope, no way. And you know what? That is a totally normal, understandable reaction. So let's actually dig into that feeling, that resistance. Why does something that sounds so simple feel so incredibly complicated? Why does it feel so wrong? Well, that's what we're calling the internal conflict of forgiveness.
And what's really interesting is that the source material calls this out directly. It knows you're probably feeling this way. It gets that initial gut reaction. And that feeling, that sense that it's just wrong, well, it comes from a really deep place inside us, this powerful instinct for what's fair. Okay, so this really breaks down that core tension perfectly. On one hand, you've got our gut instinct, right? Forgiving just feels unjust. It feels like you're giving them a pass, like you're letting them off the hook. But on the other hand, we have this new insight, and it suggests that whole feeling, that whole instinct, is actually based on a huge misunderstanding of what forgiveness is even for in the first place. And that right there, that leads us to the absolute game changer in all of this. It's what we're calling the forgiveness reframe. This is a huge shift in how we think about it, because it takes the focus off of them and puts it right back where it belongs, on you.
So that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? If forgiveness isn't about excusing what they did, if it's not about letting them off the hook, then who in the world is it really for? And here's the answer. This is the heart of the reframe, the part that changes everything. It's not for them. Simple as that. We've been taught to think of forgiveness as this gift we give to the person who hurt us. But this idea says, nope, that's totally wrong. It's not for them. Not at all.
And this quote just says it all, perfectly. Remember, when you forgive someone, you forgive them for you. Just let that sit for a second. It's not about them. It's not about wiping their slate clean. It's about taking back your own power. It's about reclaiming your own peace. So, let's get a really clear definition here. True forgiveness in this sense has nothing to do with the other person. It's an act of self-liberation. It's for you. Think of it like this. You've been carrying a heavy rock around for ages, a rock that someone else handed you. Forgiveness is just you deciding, you know what, I'm done carrying this, and setting it down.
All right, so if forgiveness is really about us, what does it, actually do for us? What's the payoff? Well, that brings us to the freedom it brings, the real tangible benefits you get when you make this massive shift in thinking.
I love how this breaks it down into 3 simple steps to get your peace back. First, you just let go. You consciously decide to unclench your fist from all that anger. Second, when you do that, you free your heart. You stop carrying that burden around all day. And finally, once you're not anchored to that past pain anymore, you can actually move on.
So let's just say it one more time to make it stick. This whole process, it's all about you. The goal is not to let them off the hook. The goal is to set yourself free. It's a deal you make with yourself for your own peace of mind.
And when you have that freedom, well, that's when you can get back to what really matters. You can get back on your own path, your own journey. So let's talk about what that looks like.
The whole idea wraps up with this really powerful image of being able to move on with your life journey. Because let's face it, holding on to resentment is absolutely exhausting. It's like trying to hike up a mountain while dragging a giant anchor. Forgiveness, from this point of view, is just you taking out a pair of scissors and snipping that rope.
And just like that, poof, the roadblock that was taking up all your time and energy is just gone. The path ahead that was all foggy with pain and resentment, it's clear now. You can actually see where you're going, and you can start moving again.
So, I want to leave you with this one final thought, a question to really mull over. When you make that choice, when you decide to travel lighter and forgive for you, what kind of journey becomes possible then?